What's up, YouTube? Once again, this is Howard Talks. Like and subscribe. So today, I'm going to talk about the baby mama culture that is hurting our young black women. It is real. But there's just a few things that I've been trying to figure out for a while. And I decided to ask around for a few women and stuff. So one thing I noticed is the problem with the whole birth control thing. When did it ever become so bad to protect yourself? When did it ever become a very bad thing to protect yourself, your body, your mind level, your stress? When did it ever become so bad as just being safe? You know? I remember one time I was taking a friend to the welfare office. And, you know, she has children too. And she went in and I just stayed in the car, and I was, you know, I'm not familiar with the place because I rarely go up there. This probably was maybe my first time being up there, and I looked and I seen a black mother at the bus stop, because there's a bus stop right in front of the building. She was holding one, pregnant with one in a stroller, two sitting on the bench. That was the most craziest thing I remember seeing waiting at the bus stop. I repeat that again. Holding one, pregnant with one in a stroller, two on the bench, sitting on the bench. And I was just in shock, like, dang, this is just crazy. This happened. This was years ago I seen this. I couldn't believe it. So, years down the line, this is when this baby mama culture just started getting even more popular. And so I decided to ask. I asked a question about the birth control, because I'm trying to figure out, you know, at some point in time it was a good thing. It was safe to protect yourself from having kids and, you know, the stress that you're going to continue to have for years to come or whatever. So I asked one girl, I said, why you ain't using a birth control? Now remind you, she doesn't have one yet, but she'd assume to have one. And she said, well, because it makes me gain weight. Okay, but if you want to mess around or whatever, and it's also a bad combination that you like to eat and you like to have sex, but you don't want to take the birth control. Something has got to balance out. So if you like to mess around, then you need to get on the birth control. That's protecting you, protecting your body. If you like to eat, then you need to go to the gym, because you know one of the side effects to being on birth control is gaining weight. So if you go out and exercise, or go down to the Y, which is technically down the street, go to the Y, exercise, be on a balanced food diet or whatever, and just be safe and eat positive, you know. But you prefer to not take the birth control. And not only that, it's the irresponsibility with the birth control. It's, I'll take the birth control before I have sex. Now that's just dumb, because you got the being on the birth control has to be organized, systematic, where you have to take it on time, on all the time so it can be effective in your body. Not when you like, you know what, I haven't taken it in a few weeks, I'm gonna take it today since I plan on going to sleep with somebody. It doesn't work that way like that, you know. So then I decided to ask another female, same thing. I said, why ain't you taking the birth control? You know, these people ain't even related. And she said, oh, it makes me fat. I said, okay, so we're on the weight gain thing. This is another concept. This is another problem because she also likes to eat too. But you don't want to take the birth control. But you don't want kids either. But you're not being safe. So why not? The birth control is free. You remember back in the day, you had all different types of birth control. No. Let me take the back. Let me reword that. Back in the day, you had one type of birth control. You know, you had the hexagon little little thing which you have all the pills around in the circle. You know, because my mom was taking them one day, and I asked my mom, I said, what is this right here? She said, oh, I take these so I don't have any kids. I said, oh. I said, okay. Because I was the youngest out of my brothers and sisters, the youngest sibling or whatever. So she didn't plan on having no more kids, at least around that time. But now you got so many different types of birth control now. You have so many different types. You can get the one thing in the arm. You can get the shot that you get every 3 months. There's different types. But, you know, they all say no sex is the safest sex or whatever. But, you know, you have these females that just want to be wild. But here's the irony in all of this, is what I find, is the crying and the being stressed out after the baby is born. That's what you get afterwards, because now you didn't want to be safe. You didn't want to be careful. And now you got this child now that you done brought into the world. And now you mad because he done left. You know, when it comes to guys mature at a lesser rate than women. Women, they mature a lot faster. And they have to grow up faster. As for the guys, they mature a lot slower. So as far as like the responsibility goes, it gets put all on the woman or the girl, because she has to grow up fast. And while the guy, he can just walk away from the situation. Oh, I can't do it. I can't take it. Instead of owning up to be a father to the child, and you can't handle it, so your best thing to do, you just leave the relationship and leave her in a state of stress and trying to figure out how to manage things, which in the long run becomes an overload that she can't handle. And while you're living your best life, she's raising this child that she done had with you, hoping and thinking that you was going to stay, but you decided to just leave because you couldn't handle it. Well, I said, well, if you didn't want any kids, why didn't you have any? Why didn't you have protection? If you don't want kids, then you need to take the birth control. If you don't want kids, then you need to be wearing protection. Neither party did neither. So this is what we got. We got a child brought into this world now. That's what we got. One party can walk away. The other one got to stay because the other one has to raise the child. And it's already too much. And I feel sorry for him, but it's like at some point in time, I don't feel sorry for the stupidity that you done decided to make this decision. And it's not only that you didn't necessarily decide to make the decisions. Your actions caused the decision that you caused you to have this baby and to bring this baby into this world. And then later on, you sit up there crying and whining about you're not getting any sleep at nighttime. Yeah, well, had you take the birth control, you wouldn't be in this predicament right now. But You didn't take it, so now this is what you got to deal with. You got to deal with catering to this child right here. Well, I'm sorry, but your life stops and hers begin. So everything that you want to do, you can't do, because the child is going to come first. So now you got to deal with your child's needs. You know, before you had this child, it was just you that you had to worry about. Nobody else, just you. Go to work when you want to, work long hours and everything. Now you can't work these long hours. Now it's not about you. Now it's about the baby, and the baby takes takes hours and days and years to raise. And now you got to put your life on hold until this child is like 18 and 19 years old. Not saying that the motherhood, being a mom stops. It's going to continue on. I said, but furthermore, the child needs more attention, and children are expensive. But back to the baby mama culture, they have cultivated this culture, making it seem like it's a good thing. It is not a good thing. It is not a good thing to put yourself through this long periods and years of stress when you can avoid it. And you know, the crazy thing that I've heard too is when a girl with no kids gets with a girl with kids, and then they try to spew into their head that, oh, if you have a baby, you could file a baby on your taxes and get about like $5,000 back. I'm sorry, but that is not a motivating factor for you to have no kid. It is not. I said, because she ain't telling you that it comes with 18 plus years of stress. The $5,000 is something that you got to wait on at the beginning of the year to file with your taxes, and before you know it, I said, it's here and it's gone. Now we back to stress. Now we back to struggling, because it's only a temporary relief when you file this income tax with this child or whatever. But it is not worth the lifelong 18 years of stress that you're going to deal with. You got to deal with the baby, then the toddler stage, kid stage, infant stage, toddler stage, kid stage, and then you got to deal with them growing up to getting to the 10s, 11s, then you got 12, then you got the teens to come along, and then after that, like each one of those years is different. Each time when they grow, the attitude changes, the mindset changes. In this day and age, entitlement comes depending on how you raise your kids. And like, all kids are not all entitled. I said, but if you start giving them everything early, I said, they become entitled. And this is what we're dealing with, this generation of these young mothers with these young kids now, is giving them everything when they're real young, and then they get all entitled, thinking that they ain't supposed to work for none of this stuff. But you set them up to be wanting this stuff. I'm sorry, but young mothers, I'm not getting my child no iPhone at no 9, 10 or 11 years old. Not happening. But this is what you got. Just because you got an iPhone doesn't mean your child need the latest iPhone. For what? I said, they're too young and irresponsible to be having this thing. Oh, I just put them on my plan. I'm sorry, but I didn't get my daughter her first phone until she was probably about like 14, 15 years old. And I didn't get her no iPhone. I said, the iPhone is something that you got to work for. You know what I'm saying? You want one, you get it. I don't have one, you don't have one. I mean, like I said, these young parents, they getting their children these devices, expensive devices at young ages, and they don't. And then when they break it, what you getting mad for? The child is irresponsible. They don't care about this stuff. I mean, you buy them an iPad, then they break it. Then you talking about, why you break the iPad? I was like, well, I dropped it on the floor. It's just a nonchalant attitude. They'll have that attitude because, they didn't pay for it. And they figure, well, you can just go get another one, right? No, I ain't getting another one. You ain't getting one. But this culture is hurting these young mothers because it's causing them It's causing them stress, and it's causing them to raise kids and they'll be stressed out when as they getting older, because the other party is not in the house. Kids come out more effective when both parties are in the house and both parties are on the same page. That's just the facts. I don't care how some of these boss chicks slice it or whatever, that, oh, I don't need no man, I can do bad all by myself. Y'all can say that all y'all want. I said, but the child needs the father. Child needs the father figure in their life. This is why we have a lot of these men that's young kids that's just coming out soft, because they've taken up their mother's traits of this feminine side when they need to be strong men. You can't have a strong man if there's no men around. No men in the house, no male figures around, just been raised by nothing but women. And you'll just get that soft, feminine child that just don't know how to be a man. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. This baby mama culture, it's hurting our young women, and we need to be more vigilant with these young women. And y'all young women, y'all need to start making better decisions when it comes to y'all body and y'all stress levels. Y'all need to stop with these fooling around with these young men. Stop having sex be the main thing on your mind, and then when a child comes, y'all acting like y'all don't know. Y'all acting like y'all can't handle it. Well, I guess you ain't gonna handle it had you make the right decision, and not having and being on the birth control. All I'm saying is, you guys need to start protecting yourself. Stop letting these other women with babies try to tell y'all that it's better on the baby culture side. It is not, and it's not going to be. Y'all tell me what y'all think. This is Howard Talks. Like and subscribe.